Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Metropolitan area network, that means I'm connected two offices together with the help of internet or a wide area network. However, that is within the city limit. I would also consider such implementation could be metropolitan area network. Correct. Now, CAN is nothing but a campus area network. We are not using this term very much, but this is once again within the university network because this is very much 10 to US campus, whatever which we are having. We have a business park where people are able to connect their laptops, Wi-Fi, come down, do their work. So such kind of network. Nowadays, we do have a such trend is available in coffee shops. Okay, if you go to the coffee shops, they will ask you to join your laptop and you can keep doing the work. So that kind of network we can convert it under CAN. PAN is nothing but a personal area network. This is simply our Bluetooth connections, infrared connection, which we are using. Personal use. It's a point-to-point connection between two devices only. Correct. WPAN. It is nothing but a wireless personal area network. I believe that some time ago there is a very good app is available that is called Share It. Okay, that Share It allows you to transfer the data between the mobile computers with the help of wireless technique. Okay, they used to connect point to point connection between two cell phones and you will be able to transfer the data with the help of Wi-Fi. So such kind of connection could be implemented as WPAN, wireless personal area network. Correct. So these are the different type of network types are available. Okay, now this is an example. Now here is the concept, once again confusing. I talk about different network. Now same technique we can consider, identify some different name. If I say internet, I would consider this is a biggest WAN, wide area network, which is publicly owned, that anybody can connect to that particular network with the help of internet. Okay, there are multiple you can send anything to any particular point. This is called as internet. Now what we can call it as intranet. Intranet means it could be a LAN or it could be a WAN, but within your company boundary there is a security boundary. I can have a Capgemini network, I told you. However, that Capgemini network, multiple offices are connected, but I am a normal third-party user. If I connect, I am not able to connect to the Capgemini network. It's not possible until and unless you have not. If you have allowed it, then only it is possible. But as a normal user, I cannot be connected to your network because I know that it is a private network. It is secured. There is a boundary. I know that there is a combination of LAN, WAN together, but still there is a logical boundary between that. Such kind of network could be considered as internet. Correct. Now, sometimes we have some internal portal which is deployed in your organization. For example, Capgemini do have a portal where employee can log in and check their all their holidays and everything, which is an employee management or something like that. Now that portal can only accessible when you are the part of the Capgemini network. Correct. That particular portal sometimes won't be accessible for me because I'm not a part of that particular organization. I'm not a part of your network. Correct. Such kind of implementation is also there. Such implementation could be considered as intranet. Extranet, I told you that sometimes the private networks get allowed it. Okay, internet could be allowed it to come inside for some other user. As I told you, the consultant or someone else can be allowed it to sometime that. So that could be something extranet which we can use. correct? Then we have seen enterprise network. Now, enterprise network, to be honest with you, there are multiple complex things are available actually, correct? There are multiple strong security. There are devices which is highly scalable, highly available. When we move to CCNA, you will come to know that what kind of enterprise devices which we guys are using nowadays. Correct? So enterprise network is nothing but it is a combination of multiple LAN sometime, multiple WANs connected together, highly scalable data centers are available in which you have multiple firewalls, multiple routers, multiple switches, different type of devices are available, which is highly available, highly scalable. You will be able to make sure that all your enterprise network has to be up and running 24 by 7. We will see that practically. I will explain you and we will configure such kind of practicals as well, correct? So this is some example of your enterprise network, how it could be connected together. It's a combination of everything, correct? Now there is a question that he will ask you that what are the type of networks. Now, very interesting topic is network OSI models. Okay, now these are the 7 model conceptual blueprint on which ISO make the standardization and make sure that whatever devices are manufactured, whatever network operating system which people are developing, whatever application peoples are developing, whatever operating systems people are developing, everybody should have a same level with respect to networking. So in order to make that standardization, ISO come with this beautiful solution. They are giving the entire guideline in a 7-step layer structure. Now the first layer is called as physical layer. In the physical layer, we have seen this is a layer which is actually dealing with bits and bytes in which the data is actually transmitting into the wire. So in layer 1, which is in a physical layer, we actually consider the devices like network cards, the devices like hub, okay, the devices which is available called as modems, okay. There are the devices, you can see here is the list is already given: hub, repeater, patch panel, network connectors. All these devices comes under the category called as physical layer, correct? I told you that they have make a strict instruction. If you want to manufacture the network interface card, these are some set of rules as per the layer. Okay, you have to follow the rules and you have to make sure that your network manufacturing card should be like this. For cables also, they do have a strict rules. You have to follow that rules to make sure that everyone, every company should have the same standard of the cables, connectors, and everything. Data link layer. Now this is a very important layer. Now I have not mentioned the access point because access point comes under the category called as wireless. But yes, this is also a layer 2 device, correct? But major devices switch and bridge. Switches, bridges, both are actually same. We are not using the bridges right now, but the purpose of both the devices are same. I told you switch and data link layer. The data link layer actually divided into 2 parts: media access control and logical link control. Media access control will help the user to do the transmission of the data between the switches, and it would be happen with the help of media MAC address. And there is a MAC address table which switch can maintain, and if switch can find out the MAC address within the MAC address table, he will not do the broadcast of that particular data transmission. He will only send the data to that particular physical port of the switch where that computer is connected, which that particular packet belongs to, correct? This is the unicast method. If he couldn't find out a data or a MAC address into the MAC address table, he straight away do the broadcast. Now this is the layer called as media access control, who will help the communication to be happened to be communication to be happened within that particular network. Correct. Second is LLC, that if I am not able to find out any information within my layer 2, I need to transfer the request to the layer 3. Now, could you someone mute yourself? Thank you. Okay. So LLC, I told you that logical link control, that if your transmission of the data is not belong to layer 2, that means within the switch, then I need to have someone who can transmit the data to the upper layer. That means it could be a it could be a network layer, or it could be a router, it could be a modem, or it could be another switch. I don't know. But if anything comes like this, LLC comes into the picture. LLC will hide the MAC information if the upper device is network device or network layer device. If it is another layer 2 device available, then he will add a frame on the top of that particular data and retransmit it to the another switch. Correct. So in physical layer, we are dealing with bits and bytes. In a data link layer, we are dealing with frames. Remember that. The next layer is called as network layer. Correct. Network layer is completely based on logical address as compared to layer 2, that is a data link layer, which works on MAC address. Correct. Logical address and router, they do have a close connection. With the help of layer 3 device, now there are layer 3 switches also, as we can see in this table. Correct. Layer 3 devices help us to transmit the data from one network to another network, and router are basically help us to find out the best route to find out a specific destination with the help of the concept called as route table. Correct. If I do not have any best path available in my route table, my router will find out a default route method or default route method for that. Correct. This is a function of network layer. Correct. Fourth layer is called as transport. Now all below layer would be some devices are there, and which we can see practically. Transmission or a transport layer would only be the layer which is implemented either inside an application, inside your operating system. Correct. Sometimes it is inside the drivers as well. Correct. So such kind of implementation which we can see. Transport layer actually transferring all the data from one location to another location. Correct. I told you the segmentation would be happen. Then he will make sure that if you are using a TCP protocol to send the data, this is the most reliable connection oriented protocol. He will do the three-way handshake. He will make sure that every data sequence he's sending to the destination, he should wait for the acknowledgement, and based on acknowledgement he will start sending the next sequence. Correct. This is a slower protocol because he need to do the three-way handshake all the time. Another protocol called as UDP, that is called as user datagram protocol, which is also used to transmit or transport the data. However, this protocol is completely connectionless. He is not reliable at all because he only transmit the data. He do not care whether the data is received or not. He never required any acknowledgement at all. The only reason is it's very fast because he does not do any three-way handshake. He does not require any acknowledgement at all. So this is very fast. Session layer. Session layer is nothing but in order to create end-to-end connection between two endpoints where you want to start transmitting the data. I gave you the example of the telephone calls. Until and unless the other person won't pick up the calls, you won't be able to speak. Correct? The same concept would be applied to transmit the data. Before you transmit the data, you have to have the end-to-end connection should be established. Now, there are multiple implementations are there in order to do that. I gave you the example of the browser. Browser are using cookies file. Okay, cookies file is nothing but end connection. If I'm talking about operating systems, operating system use socket files. Socket file is also used in order to store the end-to-end connection. So this could be done by session layer. Now session layer do have a specific time limit. After that particular time limit, your session or connection would be terminated automatically.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
After that, you have a presentation. Now remember that your presentation would be the layer who can present your data to another system. Data compression, encryption, there are majority of the options which you are doing with the data before you transmit it, that all data representation related activities would be done by presentation layer. I gave you the example that if I'm transferring one file to another file, the file is not entirely copying, it is happening right now. But before it get entirely copied, you will be able to know that what kind of file is that. Okay, what kind of type of file system which you are copying into it, correct? So these are all would be done with the help of presentation layer. Application layer would be all the application who is actually using networking in order to connect the data, correct? So all those particular activity would be, or all those application would be considered under the application layer. So you can see your email, your FTP servers, SSH, DNS, DHCP protocol, all this protocol actually use the networking concept. So all this protocol would be considered the part of application layer, correct? After that, we have seen the most important part is called as data encapsulation and data decapsulation. When a sender is sending the data, whenever he's sending the data, every time, every layer of the OSI model, he will start encapsulating the data with the help of header information. Okay, that means transport layer can put his header information, network layer can put his header information, data link layer can put his header information, plus there is a source and destination information. So whatever layer which your data is transmitting, whatever devices it's moving through, okay, every layer of your OSI model would also attach the capsulation on the top of your data. You can see it's a header part, okay? So that is called as encapsulation. I told you why it is important, because whenever receiver receive the data, he will start reading the every layer which is attached to your actual data. Finally he reached to that data, particular data which is sent for you, then you will process it again, put your response into the same format, decapsulate it again and send it back to the same path, correct? So this is called as encapsulation and decapsulation, correct? I told you that OSI model, what is the baseline, but based on that, currently with the model which we are using, that is nothing but a TCP/IP model, correct, which contains only application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. However, all these models, which is DoD is also a model, Department of Defense, they also have their own model, which is actually based on OSI reference model. So remember that I will give you the task. You need to find out what is the difference between OSI model and TCP model. You will come to know that what are the complex challenges which you are having in this OSI model. To overcome these complex challenges, they have introduced this TCP/IP model. End of the day, they are working in the same line. The only implementation wise they have changed. Correct. Now this is what we have seen in this particular chapter. Correct. Then we have seen a very important transmission method. Unicast means one-to-one transmission. You are sending the file from one mobile phone to another mobile phone with the help of Bluetooth. It is a point-to-point communication. I will say this is a unicast communication. Broadcast means one source would be there and I am going to send to all. Okay, to everyone, that particular transmission method would be considered as a broadcast method. After that, we do have a multicast method. That means here I am sending the data to many, but that many is nothing but some group of people, not all. Correct? So that is called as multicasting. Anycasting, I told you, this is a new method which is implemented in IP version 6. Currently, we are not using that, but still, Anycast method can send the data to the nearest node. If he know the direct destination also, he will not be able to send the data directly to that destination. He will try to send the data with the help of nearest node method. Now such kind of data transmission method would be considered as Anycast. Correct? After that, we have seen the connection mode. Connection mode means how the connections are happened. Correct? Now basically simplex, half duplex and full duplex, these are the configuration which you can do it on your network interface card. You can do this particular configuration on your switch Ethernet port. Wherever you are getting Ethernet technology, means RJ45 port, wherever you are getting such technique, you will be able to change this mode. Correct? Now simplex, I told you that it is only one way direction. I am able to send the data, but you are not supposed to give me anything back. Our radio channels, TV channels are the best example of it. We can only see the serials, or we are only able to see listen the song, but we won't be able to send anything back to them. Half duplex, it is a two-way communication. That means you are able to receive it, you are able to send it, but not at the same time. Only one action would be done at a one time. Correct? Full duplex, same thing like half duplex. The only thing is both the action sending and receiving would be happen at the same time, at the simultaneously. So this is all covered in this particular chapter. Different type of method, OSI model, connection method, and transmission technology. Is there any doubt in this particular chapter? Anything you don't understand, or anything you want me to explain it one more time? Kindly put the message in the chat. We will once again repeat that. No problem. Everything is clear to all of you? Okay. So now somebody say no, somebody say yes. Yes, it is clear, or no, there is no doubt. Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay. Now the chapter number 2 is once again a boring chapter, to be honest, in your language, because this chapter is completely based on cables. Okay, the cables which we have seen, they are going to give you more details about cables. Okay, we talked about copper media, that means our normal cables, Ethernet cables, which talked about. Second, they are talked about fiber optic media, correct? And the third option, they can talk about bounded network media installation. Okay, now understand the copper media very carefully, because that is the media which we are using mostly in our local area connections. Optical fiber, which is quite expensive. Okay, it's not quite, it's very expensive. Majorly we are using optical fiber for backbones. Okay, because optical fiber are very high speed data cables, very expensive because the media is light, so light is very faster. So remember that majority fiber optic cables are used for backbones. Now you know the concept of backbones, why we are using backbones most of the time, correct? So let's talk about what type of media they are going to talk about. Okay, now here is the concept related to the media. Now bounded media and unbounded media. Okay, now here, which is something called as metal or glass, this is called as bounded media. Unbounded media means majorly the media which we cannot see, that means air, waves. Okay, so majorly we are using two major categories in media. One is called as bounded media and unbounded media, correct? So under unbounded we have a radio wave, microwave, infrared, that kind of implementation, which is electromagnetic signals actually, correct? Okay, wireless will comes complete different way. Wireless is completely different technique, but here they are talking about media. Bounded means your normal copper wires or optical fibers. Unbounded means radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiation, where we are using electromagnetic transmissions. Okay, simple example, you might have electronic punch cards for your office. You do have a biometrics, correct? So such kind of implement, your punch card is a implementation of some infrared or wave actually, correct? So that kind of RFID implementation is there actually. So that kind of a media which they are talking under the unbounded media category, that's fine. So let's talk about some type of cable. This is also very important to understand. Now in which layer they are coming? They are coming in physical layer, because I told you in a previous section, all your cables, connectors, okay, whatever type of cable which you are using, any type of media which we are talking about, it comes under the physical layer, correct? That's fine. Now here is interesting. The media is what? Bounded media, correct? The media which we are talking about, which is a bounded media, and we are using the copper. Now copper is a good electric conductor metal actually. This is why copper is used. Very much stable, correct? Very much we are using it. Now under that there are two different categories. Okay. Now shielding is a method of placing conductive material around it. That means this is our shield. Okay. That will provide some reduce in noise actually. So we are not so much interested in this shielding part. We are interested in these two parts: twisted pair cable and coaxial cable. These are the major type of cables which we are using as a media in order to create the local area connections, correct? Coaxial cable, you might be know about it, don't worry, I will show you. Coaxial cable means our cable television, our TV cable. You might be have seen such type of cables. This is called as coaxial cable. You can see there is a conductor over here, there is a main line, this is an insulation, this is a shield, correct? So this is a type of cable which will becomes under coaxial cable. You won't imagine this is the cable which we are using currently for television. Early days the same cable used in order to connect the data actually your computer, correct? There is a connector over here that is called as British Naval connector. Okay. With the help of this connector, I'm supposed to connect the coaxial cable, I am used to get a network adapter where I can connect this BNC connector. So in early days, we are using coaxial copper cable, that big cable, in order to connect the computers. Believe me, it's very, very slow network because such cable is not that much efficient, and that technology was not so much, you can say, developed that particular time. But yes, this was used before. This is called as coaxial cable, which they are talking about. Okay, the second cable they are talking about is called as twisted pair. Now this is the standard cable which we are getting now.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
This is called as twisted pair. This is the current cable which we are getting. Correct. Now under twisted pair, we are getting two different options. Okay. One is called as unshield twisted pair, and second is called as shield twisted pair. Correct. So if you can see in the next slide, okay, this is the twisted way. I told you why we are having such twist. Correct. Now such kind of twist is very, very important to reduce the noise. Correct. Number of pairs, I told you there are 8 cables, 4 pairs are there. In actual, only 2 pairs are actually in functioning. The rest of the 2 pairs are, you can say it's a backup for that. Correct. At given point, only 2 pairs are actually sending and transmitting the data at the same time, if I'm using full duplex mode. Correct. Once again, I am correlating this particular technique with my full duplex. What is a full duplex? Full duplex is a connection method. If I'm using full duplex with coaxial cable, correct, you need to make sure that every particular cable do have some capacity. Your particular network interface card do have a capacity. Your connection method is full duplex. That means 2 cables I'm using it for sending, 2 cables are I'm using it for receiving. Correct. So remember that. Now under twisted pair, there are 2 types. Understand, the first is what? The first is there are 2 type of cable. There are 2 type of copper media. One is coaxial, second one is twisted. Correct. Under twisted, there are 2 types. One is called as UTP and second one is called as STP. Correct. Now you can see what is the difference between that. There is only one difference. Okay. Shield and there is no shield. There is only one difference between this. One, UTP does not have a shield around it. STP do have a shield around. Now the reason why we are putting shield, to reduce the noise. If I am getting too much noise, there is a chance of a data loss. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, so these are the only difference. It is more expensive. Definitely STP are more expensive because of the shield. Okay, but if you look at it, okay, I will show you. This is an unshielded twisted pair, you can see. Okay, this is unshielded twisted pair. Okay, and if I go for this is a shield twisted pair. You can see there is a additional shield would be there. Okay, this is a shield twisted pair. Okay, this is the only difference. Otherwise, whatever number of pairs are there, it is same. Okay, What is the capacity of that particular cable? It is same. There is no difference in between that, correct? The only difference is there is an extra shield which would be allowed it to reduce the noise. That's it, correct? Okay, now here is the interesting thing. Okay, now there are multiple categories now. Now you can see, once again you will get confused. I'm talking about twisted pairs. Under the twisted pair, I'm getting there are two type of cables, UTP, STP. Under that twisted pair category, there are multiple standards now. Okay, it could be twisted or untwisted. Both categories are there. If I'm talking about Cat 3 cable, okay, I will show you. This is a category. If I say Cat 3 cable, okay, this is a cable I'm talking about. Okay, Cat 3 cable. Now, if I'm using Cat 3 twisted shield pair or untwisted shield pair, what is the maximum speed I can go through? The maximum speed would be 10 Mbps and the maximum distance would be 100. Now people get confused. Now don't confuse. I will explain this. This is the most important table you need to memorize. This is the concept. This is how you need to understand it now. Let's say in my office, I do have two computers. For example, I have these two computers. Okay. And I would like to connect these computers with the help of a cable. Okay. Now the thing is, every computer do have network interface card, correct? I told you. NIC. Okay. This is also have some nice. This computer do have its own network interface card. This computer do have its own network interface card, correct? Now this network interface card also do have some capacity. I will get the network interface card of 10 Mbps capacity. I will get 100 Mbps capacity. I will get 1000 Mbps capacity, or I will get 10 Gbps capacity. So this capacity of the cards I'm getting. So this could be available at this particular end as well. So if I say, okay, so let's say I do have a 10 Mbps card over here, correct? And here I do have a 100 Mbps card. Correct? Now the cable which I want to connect in between this, okay, the cable I want to connect it as per the table, I said the first cable we are going to take it as a Cat 3 cable, correct? So let's go for Cat 3. Now I cannot go beyond 100 meter. Correct? If this machine is more than 100 meters, my Cat 3 cable won't help me in that case. So the distance between these two computers, if I'm using a Cat 3 cable whose capacity is also 10 Mbps, okay, transferring capacity, and the distance is, you can say, 100 meters. Now can you tell me how much data receiving speed would be coming on this machine? If this is a transmitter and this is a receiver, how much speed of the data I can receive it from here? Look at the scenario carefully. Tell me what is the maximum speed I can receive it over here, and what is the reason behind it? Anyone want to take a chance? Or everyone feeling sleepy after lunch?
Not more than 10 MB.
Okay, why 10 MB?
Cat3 cable data rate is around 10 Mbps.
It's because the capacity of Cat3 is 10 Mbps.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is the only reason. If I put there Cat5, which is 100 Mbps, okay, you can see as per the table, Cat5 will give you the speed of 100 Mbps. If I put Cat5 over here, what will happen?
The distance is what plays role here as
okay,
well.
Now distance is 100 meter. You can go for any cable. The
100.
maximum distance
Yeah.
is 100 meter. You can see here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can tell me how much speed I'm expecting over here. Now, as per the Cat5, I am getting 100 Mbps. Okay, so how much speed I'm supposed to get over here? Okay, look at the question one more time. This computer do have 10 Mbps network interface card. The cable in between these two computer, it is a Cat5. You can take it an example. Right? And this particular computer do have a 100 Mbps card. Now this computer starts sending the data from here to this particular computer. This is a receiver. So what is the maximum speed he will be receiving on his end?
10 only.
Okay, now why it is like that?
As per the NIC.
Yes, you're absolutely right. This is exactly the answer which I'm expecting. The reason I'm using a 100 Mbps card, that's fine. But this guy do have only 10 Mbps capacity as a transmitting power. This is a transmitter, am I right? This is the transmitting capacity is what? 10 MB. So he can only send the data to 10 Mbps over this particular cable, where my cable is carrying the capacity is 1 Gbps. I do not have any issues, but still the capacity of transmitter is 10 Mbps. So remember guys, sometime people are asking the question that I'm not getting the maximum speed. Remember that the speed which you are receiving in local area connection, I'm not talking about internet speed at all. I'm talking about local area connection speed, which you guys are using within your organizations. Which you guys are using within your organization to share the data, correct? So that particular speed is completely depend on three factors. Okay, what is a type of NIC card which you are using? What is the capacity? Okay, whether it's 100 Mbps, 10 Mbps, 1 Gbps, or 10 Gbps, it's completely depend on them. So the first is receiver and transmitter capacity. Second factor would be what type of cable which you are using. If I'm using 10 Gbps and I'm using Cat3 cable, will it be working? No, because maximum capacity of Cat3 cable is 10 Mbps. It's not going to run anything more than that. Correct? So you have to make sure that the cable has to be compatible. Your network interface card has to be compatible on both the sides. Some people do have some problems like this. They have a very good switch, very fantastic switch. The capacity of the switch is 1 gigabyte. Every port, it's a 24 port switch. Every port capacity is 1 gigabyte. However, the computer they have attached, that is 100 Mbps.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, and they're saying that my switch is a gigabyte. I'm not getting a gigabyte speed on computer. How come? The capacity of the switch is 1 gigabyte, but your receiving capacity on the computer is only 100 Mbps. And the cable which you are using, if it is less than Cat5, then it is not going to use it. Cat5e is a cable who can give you the capacity of 1 Gbps. So remember that whenever you are actually dealing with cables, you have to make sure that what is the type of cable I am using, what is the maximum speed I am getting, and how much distance it will go. Correct? So this is very, very important factor. Correct? So understand, every time if you are dealing with anything like this, you have to make sure that you have to find out the appropriate devices it should be connected over there. Correct? Now, if we go for Gigabit Ethernet Cat6, this is something interesting right now. There is a 10 gigabyte Ethernet card. Now, this is very expensive actually. Everything is okay. This is a 10 gigabyte Ethernet card. Okay. Now, if you see the cost of it, it's very, very expensive. Somewhere around 20 or 23,000, somewhere around that actually. 9,000. Okay. If you're going for gigabyte, it will come around 9,000. If you go for an express version of it, it will keeps increasing it. Okay, it's very expensive card. This is a network card. If you go for a 10 Mbps network card, it is very cheaper. Okay, it's very cheaper as compared to that. 225, 230 rupees. Okay, so that's something very, very expensive. Okay, this is a latest, you can say not latest, it is already there in 4-5 years ago, but normally we are not using it over normal computers, we are using it for servers. So this is a 10 gigabyte card which we can use it. Now this card should have this type of cable. This is a Cat6 cable. If you have this type of cable, only that particular card will work. Normally we are not using 10 gigabyte card like this. We do have another implementation in order to go for a faster service. Correct? Now we do have one more type of cable which is available in bounded. Correct? We will definitely see that, and that will give you much more advantage. Now this is a twisted pair connectors. Now remember that I told you about RJ45 connector. Correct? This is a type of connector I am explaining you. RJ45. This is the connector which he's talking about. Correct? Now you can look at the diagram carefully. This is the connector which contain a small copper strips over here. You can see now these are pin. Now pin 1 to pin 8. Correct? Whenever people are actually doing clamping, now in early days we used to connect the RJ45 connectors to the cables. Nowadays people are not doing that because people are getting connector attached to the cable by default from the manufacturer. You just need to mention the length of the cable. They will connect all the RJ45 connector on both the ends based on your implementation with the help of machines. In early days, we used to do it with the help of bare hands, with the help of clamping tools, correct? So there are total 8 pins. We do have total 8 cables, correct? Now, based on that particular connector, they are giving you, there are different type of color. You can see there is a white with orange, there is a solid orange, white with green, blue, white with blue, green, white, brown, and brown. These are the color coding they are giving to you. Now, there is a specific reason behind it why this color coding is given to you, correct? Now, once again, don't get confused. What is the type of the cable which we are looking at? We are looking at bounded cables. Under bounded cables, we are going to see the copper cables. Under the copper cable, there are two cables, coaxial and twisted pair, correct? Coaxial cable, I told you, we are using it for television nowadays. However, in early days, we used to use it for network connections, okay, with the BNC connectors, correct? But we are not using it nowadays because that was a very slow network. Currently, we are using twisted pair. Under twisted pair, there are two categories, UTP and STP. Okay, you can say not category, there are two types, UTP cable and STP cable, correct? Under this, there are different type of categories. I said Cat3 UTP, Cat3 STP. I told you the only difference is what? Shield and non-shield, correct? Otherwise, if I say Cat3 UTP cable, which is less expensive, Cat3 STP cable, which is expensive. Capacity wise, everything is same. But do not just calculate the capacity based on cables only. You have to make sure what is the type of cable, what is the type of network interface card which you are using, what is the type of switch interface port which you are using. The complete speed is depend on multiple factors, but this is the maximum capacity and maximum distance which you can go for, correct? So understand, this is very interesting. Now they're talking about implementation. Implementation means how we can connect the connectors to that cable. Okay, we have seen why it is twisted, because to reduce the noise, to reduce the electromagnetic field which is generated, because end of the day they are carrying the current. The current is nothing but our data which they are transmitting in the form of current. If any given point of a time the noise is increased or electromagnetic field is increased, there is a chance of data loss, correct? So that's the reason it is twisted, correct? So understand, this is very, very interesting. Now they are talking about implementation, how to use it. So this is the way we can connect the RJ45 connector, correct? Now this is coaxial cable which we have discussed. Now this is the type of cables which is available, solid core and standard wire. Don't worry about that. This is the RG9 which is we are using for cable television and transmission of cable modems nowadays, correct? RG9 was thick Ethernet networking. I told you this particular cable was used before for computer network, correct? Currently we are using RG9 cable for cable network. We do have a cable modems. We are getting the internet through the coaxial cable as well, okay, with the help of this RG9 cable. So that is also used nowadays only for internet transmission and television transmission, correct? But not for computer networking for the LAN connection. But in early days it was used for a LAN connection as well, correct? So that is about coaxial cable. Okay, now this is, I told you, this is a BNC connector and this is a F connector. F connector we are using for cable televisions, and BNC connector we are using for network node, correct? So these are the two type of connectors which we can use it for coaxial cable. Similarly, we do have a RJ45 connector for our twisted pair. So these are highlighted points. Remember that. This table is also important because the speed and what type of implementation which you want to use it. So understand this table is very, very important to understand it. As per the exam perspective, they will give you some story like questions and they will give you the name of that particular cable which you are using it, and based on that they will start asking you the question. So be careful, both the tables are very, very important for you. Correct? So this is the type of coaxial cables connector. Okay, now the next cable is some thick.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.